Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Um, Welcome to another edition of kind of staying on top of the lockdown and dealing with the issues that are going on. We have been doing a series of discussions on various topics as part of this COVID-19 series. And today we are going to talk about, let me just share. So today we are talking about how to prevent aches and pains during uh, the lockdown, and because we end up being much more sedentary because we are homebound. Just a quick introduction to people who may not know us. Patients Engage is an online platform which has been operational for 5 years. We are focused on holistic and evidence-based management of chronic conditions. And we look at the perspective of patients and family caregivers. We believe very strongly in the value of lived experiences and how it is important for people to share experiences and how learning from each other makes them more empowered as well. Um, and those that empowerment leads to better decision making and better quality of life. Uh, we've also been doing webinars regularly, and for the last week, we've also been doing a series for managing ourselves during COVID-19. This was one of the things that I recently came across, and I thought it was extremely useful because it talks of how we can move from being afraid and scared and anxious into looking at how we can learn from the information out there, selecting what we should pick and what we should ignore, and ultimately taking control of our lives and of our health. So, just because we are going through a pandemic does not mean that we do not think about our health. Maybe it is a good time to think even more about our health, but not being anxious about it, but just being proactive about it. So as I said, we've been doing this series of managing chronic conditions during lockdown. And, we have been getting feedback on aches and pains, and back pain is one of the most common complaints that people have. So today we have with us Kalpana Kamdar, who's a physiotherapist and runs her own clinic, Swayam Physiotherapy Clinic in Mumbai, in Ahmedabad. And I am Aparna, I'm the moderator. And I'll quickly stop sharing. But before that, just for people to know that, if you are logged into Zoom, you can post your questions in the Q&A. If you're on Facebook, you can put in your questions there, and you can rename yourself if you want privacy. Also, our usual social media handles, and if you want to write to us, you can write to us at editor@patientsengage.com. Okay, so let me stop sharing, and let me start by asking Kalpana. Kalpana, everyone has shifted to work from home, and everybody's working on dining tables, on sofas, on beds, um, and they obviously leading to a lot of aches and pains, and as we've said, there's a lot of sedentary lifestyle as well. So can you just talk us through the importance of uh, posture and what we should keep in mind in these times?
So, hi Aparna, good afternoon, and a very good afternoon to everyone who is watching us or joining us. Very important, the first and foremost, let's not even go into postures, but when we are at home, we tend to be in whatever position for very long. We don't really get up much. If we are on the bed, a lot of people are binge watching, a lot of people are working from home, so maybe they just, and one gets lazy when one doesn't have to really get out much. So it's that which is very, very harmful in the first place. So that is very important. That we are in a certain position for more than 2 hours, 3 hours, even longer at a stretch. So my first point would be that you should always, very importantly, change your position at least every 30 to 45 minutes. It may be any position. It can be a good position or a bad, but moving or getting out or changing and shifting is very important.
Okay. So and I think you make a good point, especially because, when you're working from home and you're doing conference calls and working on your laptop, you are constantly in that one position, right? So you're not getting up to go and join meetings. You're not getting up to go to, catch up with somebody for a coffee. So, you're right. You become even more sedentary. Um, but can you also tell us, what is a good posture?
A good posture basically means how you place yourself in your body parts in relation to each other in space.
Mm,
So basically, if I could be standing, I could be sitting, I could be reclining, I could be sleeping, but how I place, because my body is like made of, we think of it as in, it's made of segments.
right.
So each segment in relation to the other, that is what matters. So when we are more aligned, when we are more in line, when each segment is placed correctly
Hmm.
in relation to the others, is what is known as a good posture. So we could talk about a standing posture or a sitting posture, or this is a very general, uh, I mean, posture in itself is a huge umbrella term. I mean,
Right. So should I
so
just share that
so
that one
so
slide?
we can share that one slide, which is a standing posture, but we don't really stand much these days.
Mm,
But as in, if I can explain here the segments, as in like your head and neck, then comes the upper torso, wherein your shoulder and the rib cage, and then below you go on to the pelvis, and then your knees and your ankles. That's how you align yourself. So as it mentions on the slide, that the ear should be exactly above the shoulder, which is
mm,
exactly above the hips, knees and ankles, which is a good alignment.
right.
And
Right.
hence is, so if you can imagine yourself, if like I am suspended with a rope,
Mm,
tied to my head,
right.
and how I would hang straight, that's when I'd be perfectly aligned.
Okay.
But when we stand on our feet and we have the gravity also, and then we also tend to compress ourselves more instead of stretching ourselves towards the sky or the ceiling, is what I keep telling my patients all the time, that you have to stretch yourself, you have to pick yourself up, you have to carry your own self
Right.
instead of dropping it down, which is damaging, which is really damaging. So the next image here on the slide is showing a bad posture versus how you can generally try to correct it. So if you stand against a wall, you need to bring your head back. You need to bring your head back and tuck your chin and lift your sternum. So we normally are like slouching. So the sternum is falling down. So one tip here that I give my patients is, how do you know what is correct?
Mm,
So say if my first button here on my shirt is a headlight. So we all drive vehicles, so we can relate to that. This, if this were a headlight, it should shine parallel to the ground or the floor. So if we are wrong, if we are trying to overcorrect, you may have seen a lot of people who try to remain very stiff and pull themselves back. But
mm,
then this points upwards, wherein your sternum is lifted a bit too high.
Right.
which is not right. If you are slouching, this headlight is going to shine down,
Hmm.
which is again wrong. So the exact point, and then when you try, you have to try doing this. So when you try doing that and you feel, you come to that level or position where you think you feel most relaxed,
Right.
because now none of your muscles are on a stress.
Hmm.
They don't have to hold you, like you're not in a wrong position, so nothing is pulling somewhere, nothing is stretching somewhere. You're just correct, you're just aligned properly. So another example I can give you could be of, blocks. When you place blocks one over the other,
Right.
so if one is out, and that needs a lot of force to be, or to hold itself there, so the muscles are the ones which are trying to bring it back. what
Right.
what what is in our body that tries to bring it back in place? The muscles. So
Right.
they are constantly on a stretch or a stress or in a state of tension.
Okay.
So many times a person who is actually doing a sedentary job
Hmm.
at the end of the day says that I was very tired, I'm like really tired, and you've not done anything.
Hmm.
But it's because of your bad postures that when you were doing nothing, the muscles were actually trying to pull you back in place,
Right.
and
Right.
they were working actually all the time.
Okay. Okay. We've got one question already. I'll just take that. Um, can you please share tips on doing basic and simple stretching exercises for stiff body? And we'll keep taking questions along the way, but just
Sure. So a very simple, a very simplified stretching exercise for the whole body would be to lie down on the floor, straight on your back,
mm,
and stretch your toes and your arms, like with your arms upstretched, and stretch them both in opposite directions as far back as you can,
mm,
as far away from each other. So really pull like your whole body on stretch, and then let go.
mm,
Okay, that will put a maximum stretch on all the muscles, and then everything will release and you will relax. So
right,
that's the simplest.
right. Okay. Okay.
See, Aparna,
Mm,
uh, I would say my way of working is to make things simple so that people can do it more
correct.
often.
Yes.
If I give the person, or if the patient or the person who's asking us, if I give them like a set of 6 or 7 or 10 exercises, they're not really going to do them.
True. True.
So patient compliance comes when you give them one or two at the most.
Mm, good.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good. Um, the one other thing is, you talked of the standing posture. Is there anything different as far as the sitting posture is concerned?
So surprisingly, we feel that when we stand, we really carry a lot of our weight. But on the spine, when
Mm,
we sit, there are more of compressive forces than as against when we are standing. Because when we stand, we are actually holding ourselves up. But
right.
when we sit, we actually compress our spine more. So as to just prove that is that when you are bending down, when people say like you shouldn't bend forward to
Mm,
pick up things, so
right.
if I'm standing and bending forward and picking up something, it's the forces on the spine are much more if I was sitting on my chair and trying to pick up something, because there's already a compressive force, and then
Mm,
I'm bending forward and picking up. So that's when the chances of my getting stuck are much more than when I was standing.
right. Okay. So would you then suggest that, and I know you talked of moving regularly, but if you are going to be working on your desk for a long period of time, is one of the best options to keep, to stand. Or they talk these days of the standing work desks as well. So
Yes. The standing workstations are another alternative these days. A lot of people are coming up with those because it makes it easier for you to move around.
right,
But
right,
getting out of the chair is more difficult. I mean, that's a task.
right.
But I'll tell you a lot of people also ask me what is a good chair to sit
Hmm.
on.
Right.
But frankly, there is no good chair
Hmm.
per se, because even if you have the ergonomically designed chair,
Hmm.
but it's not designed to your specific measurements, right? Like you are of a particular height, your bones are of a particular length.
Right.
So it may not fit everybody's curves and everybody's, I may have a longer thigh bone. I may
Hmm.
not be able to be comfortable. So it's not about the, but a very important thing there is that, of course, so a surface which is straight
Hmm.
is a good surface to sit on. So like a bench or
Right.
like a stool, like a wooden stool. So like if you notice that in these government offices or wherever, we ask the peons or the those people to sit on a stool or he
Right.
gets up so easily. It's so
Right.
easy to get up from there. He's always running. But
Right.
from my very comfortable chair, I really find it so difficult to get up and go out. And
Right.
so actually no, my point was that a straight surface is better
Okay. Okay.
than a chair which also another thing that I can tell is if the hip joint is below the knee joint, so if
Hmm.
like in a sedan, like in a car,
Hmm.
where or in a sofa,
Right.
where your hip joint goes down
Hmm.
and the knee joint comes above when you're sitting there, that's a bad position. Like I'm sitting on a bad chair right now. It's an effort for me to sit, but I kept this chair because I wanted to talk about
Right.
that. So
Right.
this is a molded plastic chair, which is very common here in
Hmm.
India at least.
Correct. Correct.
And they have a shell which is round.
Right. Right.
So it is very difficult, and our pelvis is also round
Hmm.
on which I sit on.
Right.
So it is very difficult for me to sit on that on a round surface. But had it been a straight chair,
Hmm.
it would have been easier for me to keep a straight back. Right
So
now, I'm really struggling.
right. Right. So typically, if you look at most Indian households, the dining chair is
The
actually a
dining
better
chair
chair.
is the best. The dining chair, but nowadays, even the dining chairs have reclining backs and stuff.
Okay.
They don't have a back at a night, but earlier you if you remember the wooden chairs that they used to have,
Right.
the very
Right.
old wooden chairs,
Right.
they were at a 90-degree angle. They were just right. And then if you also want to sit on that chair,
Right.
your bottom should be touching the back of the chair. Absolutely. So for example, you're sitting on a chair, I think, which is like an office chair.
Right. Yes.
But you could try doing that.
Hmm.
uh, you need to go all the way into the chair. You have to go deep into the chair.
Right.
I mean, go as much as you can. Don't even
Yeah.
leave even that much of space.
Okay.
And then you close your eyes and feel your back.
Right.
Close your eyes and feel it.
Hmm.
And then you come forward by just about an inch. Just slide out a bit. Not your back, your bottom has to
Oh.
slide out a bit.
Okay.
And now you feel the back.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
will feel your back now.
Right. Right.
Okay, then you
I
weren't
was not
feeling
feeling
it
the back. Correct.
because
Correct.
it was aligned.
Right.
Right now our back is rounded.
Right.
The curve of our back, if
Right.
this was the front,
Hmm.
you get it now. This is
Yeah.
more comfortable. So
That's
you
true.
got to pull your chair into the table
Right.
rather than you sitting out into the chair.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Right.
that makes you slouch.
Right. Correct.
Okay, and then see, once you slouch, your neck goes wrong,
Right.
if you can appreciate that.
Mm.
So if I'm just sitting, if you correct one curve, the other one corrects itself.
Mm. Okay. All right.
I,
Thanks.
I hope it's simple enough to understand.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure. Um, okay. So I think we've talked of sitting on a chair. What about people who are sitting on the bed?
So yeah, when you sit on the bed, the normal thing to do is people put pillows, they prop
Mm.
pillows in the back, and then they sit. So again, it's the same thing. You have to have the bottom touching the back of the bed back also.
Okay.
Because so basically your body and your legs have to be at a 90-degree angle.
So you should remove all the pillows from behind.
You should, yes. If you want to sit and read, or you
Mm.
want to watch TV, or you want to talk to someone,
Right.
you should sit in that position with
Right.
the back upright, the bottom touching the back of the bed,
Mm.
and then you can sit like that for long.
Okay. So just propping up multiple pillows does not help.
Never, no
Okay.
ways.
Okay.
So you are bound to get pains if you do that. You
Right.
will get pains.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you. I've got a couple of questions coming. What is the importance of stretching at the beginning of a day?
Uh, it's just that because you haven't moved for that long, you were sleeping.
Mm.
But also, see, again, then we come to the sleeping posture. So
Right.
when we sleep right or we don't sleep right normally, so when we wake up, we feel the need to stretch. We are not actually relaxed, wherein we should have been relaxed. That's
Right.
the purpose of sleeping.
Right.
Uh, so should I explain the
Sure.
sleeping posture?
Sure. Sure.
So what we do wrong is a lot of myths about sleeping is lie down straight, always sleep straight on your back. That's the best.
Mm.
Or use a very thin pillow or don't use a pillow.
Right.
But these are not enough. These are not proper uh, things to do.
Mm.
Um, sorry. Um, Sleeping straight, again, as I told you, when we do the shavasana, it's like sleeping straight, but the
Right.
small of the back. So when we sleep, we toss and turn a lot. We don't wake up to toss and turn,
Mm.
but we do it in our sleep. That is
Right.
something that your brain tells you to do
Right.
because you're not in a good position. So it will keep changing your position,
Mm.
which is again to ensure that you're not in a bad position for long.
Right. Right.
Okay, but there are times when we wake up with a crick neck or
Mm.
a catch in the neck or the back
Right.
when we wake up. Now
Right.
that is because just in case, this is just okay, if you were so much in deep sleep that you didn't really toss and turn and you were in that bad position for longer,
Mm.
which is why that muscle was like really not in a good place and really badly tense.
Right.
So it's a muscle that went into spasm.
Okay.
It's just a tight muscle.
Right.
Okay. So what would be a correct sleeping position is where you sleep on either side. It may be the left or the right, doesn't matter.
Mm.
But our head is in the center. It's in the midline of our body. So
Right.
if you imagine me right now sleeping on my side,
Mm.
and this is my mattress here,
Right.
then I need to cover this whole distance to keep my head aligned and in the midline.
Right.
So I would actually need not one pillow or a thin pillow, but I would need probably two pillows.
Mm.
And there is no fix, like people may then ask me, is it 6 inches, 8 inches, 4 inches? There is no fixed particular measurement of it because we are all different again. So you need to cover this distance and take the pillow all the way into the neck and shoulder.
Right.
This is a very crucial part because the neck is now supported.
Okay.
If the neck weren't supported and we leave a gap here, which we normally do,
Mm.
these muscles won't be. And then again, we toss and turn.
Right.
So we need the pillow to be touching the neck and shoulder
Right.
and to cover that whole distance.
Okay.
So also the cervical neck pillows,
Hmm.
the ones which have a shape, a ready shape for, like,
Right.
the
Right.
neck. But
Right.
even they don't fit into everybody's neck.
Hmm. Okay.
So they are of a standard measurement. They're not made to our measurement.
Right.
So I would suggest taking a pillow and a big towel and push it in all the way, or another pillow and push it in all the way. And
Okay.
also place a pillow between the two legs, and the legs are both bent.
Hmm.
That is also to relax the back
Okay. Okay.
and not, okay.
Right. So a couple of more questions coming in. What kind of modern day mattress is best for the body? I'm sure
I
you've
would say,
answered this many times, but
yeah, I would say just a simple medium firm mattress. Nothing really fancy.
okay.
It needs to be firm.
Right.
So a lot of people talk about memory foam and stuff, but memory foam is just a good quality foam. It does nothing good to you. It
Mm.
just lasts longer.
Okay.
Yeah, but just a simple firm mattress is a good one.
Okay.
And
Uh,
and change the mattress sides uh, more often, because you tend to flatten. It takes shapes and
it
changes
takes
shapes. So
shapes. Right. Right.
keep changing your mattress over.
Okay. Okay. Um, Somebody's asking, now that it is work from home time and no helpers and maids around, we end up doing the floor mopping, etc. Do you suggest squatting and mopping like earlier days, or is that too much pressure on the knees?
On the knees,
So I guess yes,
no.
squatting as in, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sitting
No,
and
squatting is good for the spine,
mm,
but knees only because we are now not in a habit of doing it.
correct.
Otherwise, it's not bad for the knee. See, it's a very wrong thing that also, this is another myth that people feel that you must be using your joints. The
Mm,
more you use your joints, the better it is for them. So
right,
in fact, we're not using our joints to the full.
right,
So it's actually because we are not doing it that we find it difficult, but otherwise you can bend your knees totally, not an issue at all.
right, right. Um,
It's
Sorry, go ahead.
it's not bad for you, but it's
Right,
just that you got to get used to it.
used to it, yeah. And it's if you're going to squat uh, to mop, then it's a very deep squat, so you have to really train yourself to get
Exactly,
to
because
it.
see, your muscles don't stretch as much, your muscles, so everything it's not just one joint that we're talking about.
Mm,
It's a lot of tissues around it also, which have become tight
right,
and stuff. So
right. Um, Somebody's asking, I'm a scleroderma patient. I have joint pain very often and lot of stiffness. What should I do?
see, a very customized question, but a
Mm,
very general answer that I would give to this would be that if we do like just 5 complete movements of every joint. So say if I start from my fingers here,
hmm,
then my fingers, I need to make a fist. Like all my joints have to bend completely.
hmm,
Take my thumb in and then open completely. What we've normally seen people doing is,
mm,
which is, no, it's the last stretch that you give it is
right.
very important. So if you do give all your joints that movement,
Mm.
If you give all of them like a complete movement as
Mm.
much as you can and a further stretch to get that end range. You
Right.
have to go into the end ranges for all joints, whichever movements are possible at a joint.
Right. Right.
And do 5 of each is enough. But going into the end range is very important.
Right. Okay. Okay. Um, somebody who's saying she feels spasm in her back when she wakes up. We're not specifically going to answer specific questions, but Kalpana, if you
But
think.
that is why I mentioned the sleeping posture.
Right.
And for if she feels the spasm in her back, she needs that pillow between her legs because
Okay.
we have a wide pelvis
Mm.
and the pelvis tends to rotate when we sleep on our side.
Right.
The leg on top falls over and our pelvis rotates. So it's
Okay.
in that twisted position all night. So
Right.
if you place a pillow between your legs, you prevent that from happening and
Right.
your muscles are relaxed then.
Okay. Um, one question, sitting on a chair, can I lay my leg straight on another bench? So people
No,
lift their leg up and sit, right? Is that a good thing?
now we just, I don't know if she or he or she was there when we spoke about the sitting posture.
Mm.
So if when I asked you to go all the way inside and if you just came out a little and you felt the curve rounding up,
Right.
so ask her to do it right now and then she will feel it that she will be rounding the curve of her back,
Right.
which is reversing the curve. Our curve has to be a hollow in the back, but we make it round,
Mm. Mm.
which is not good. So
Okay.
that's what happens when she's
When you
in that
lift your chair,
position.
when you
Yes,
lift your
yes,
legs up to rest on the
yes,
chair. Okay.
correct. So that's a
Okay.
very wrong thing to do.
Okay. I feel neck pain and dizziness for a minute when I'm working like chopping or in the kitchen.
So can we show that slide
Sure.
with the exercise?
Sure.
No, the exercise one.
This
Yeah.
one?
So yes. So the third one here, the
Mm.
upper two don't need to be done really. Just the last one where you pull your shoulder blades. So the shoulder blade is the bone in the back here, the two wing bones. You pull them down and back. I don't know if you can
Okay,
appreciate
let
that.
me stop sharing now. Maybe it's easier to see you do it. Okay.
So this is my shoulder. I just take it back and down. Pull it back down like
Right.
that and relax. So I just pull it back, hold it for a count of 10 and relax.
Right.
Do it 3 or 4 times when she's doing it, when she's actually chopping or whatever. She
Mm.
can do it in the middle of it and then again go back. Because when we are chopping and stuff, we are always slouching and looking down, which is not good for this particular muscle. We call it the trapezius, the upper trapezius. This is the one which is always tense.
Right.
It even takes on your mental stresses and remains very, very stiff. So whenever anybody like just does this, like rubs on your shoulder and it just feels so good and you want someone to do that all the time, is
Mm.
because that is the muscle which is always tense and we need to relax that muscle.
Okay.
So that exercise relaxes the muscle.
Right. Great. Thanks. Question, I guess it's question. I can't sit on floor for more than 5 minutes. Is it because we have stopped sitting on floor?
Sitting on the floor again, same, you can take the support of a wall or something and sit upright, then you can, because sitting on the floor is anywhere. I don't know how you're sitting on the floor.
Right.
But if you sit on the floor without, like in the middle of a room,
Mm.
you would tend to slouch.
Right.
And that is why you cannot sit for long. So if you're upright, if you're well aligned, then
Mm.
so a lot of people try to find a place, where they can get a wall or something to get the back
Support of
rested, the
yeah,
support of the wall or something. So that's why it works.
right, right. Okay. Um, okay. Also, I think, there's a question on my aches increase when I'm stressed. So what should I do?
So that's can we show them the active rest position, which is
Sure.
really wonderful. I really love that position. So anybody can do this. It's not that only people who have aches and pains would want to do it. Everybody should do this,
Mm,
because as you can really see on that slide, the spine is so nicely aligned. Now here, the only thing that you need to do is you need to lie down on a flat surface.
mm,
Anyone who cannot lie down on the floor, you could do it on the floor, it's good, on a yoga mat or something. But you could do it on your bed also. If it's a firm bed, it's all right. If someone can't go onto the floor, it doesn't matter.
right.
You can do it on your bed with a book below your head,
Mm,
just to raise it a little, again to bring it in line with your body, because we have muscles and fat in the back.
right.
And so the head tends to fall back if we don't. So like when anybody has done the shavasana, will understand the difference. You place a book about an inch thick below your head. It need not be below your neck, but below your head.
Mm,
And the hands have to be on your stomach or your chest or wherever, but the shoulder has to be a little open. It shouldn't be close to your body. The shoulder elbows have to be out.
right.
You could even place your hands up like that. That also relaxes this muscle a lot. Like you could lie down like this. Imagine me lying down on the floor like that.
Right.
Okay. And the legs bent almost like with feet flat on the bed or the floor.
Mm,
So this actually flattens out the curve in your back,
right.
which is why the back also is relaxed. So everyone, if they can, if they're at their home, they can try it right now and see how it feels. So her question was,
No, so the stress
the
causes,
tension. Yeah,
yeah,
the
the
stress
tension and
causes
the
tension.
stress.
So
Yeah,
this, this position itself relaxes all the muscles. So
right.
physically, she will not be in stress. The physical stress will definitely leave,
Right.
which also, I mean, this is my personal experience. I've had patients falling off asleep in my
Mm,
clinic,
right.
and they feel like, okay, your mattress or your clinic bed is the best. It's not actually. It's like a very cheap quality foam, because I didn't really want to spend money on that mattress really. So
Right.
it's just a simple foam mattress, but it's the position which actually is that works.
Right. Right. Okay. Couple of questions. One asking about jaw lock and what exercises to reduce jaw lock. Uh,
Jaw lock.
I think it may be
I
specific
need,
to her condition of being an SLE patient. But
yeah, but this is very specific, so I
okay,
cannot
so
really answer the question without knowing her and getting a little more of history.
right,
I shouldn't really do that.
yeah, okay. Any neck exercises for people who get kind of tight around the neck?
See, this, the one which I showed you,
Mm,
the neck, see, I'll just take a minute on
sure,
this.
sure.
The muscle, this is a very crucial muscle, the trapezius. It's a very bad guy. Actually, it takes away all, it it holds on to all the stresses. And
Hmm.
that is the one which starts from the base of our skull,
Hmm.
runs along the neck and comes onto the shoulder, the tip of our shoulder.
Right.
So this muscle actually is actually working on the cervical spine.
Hmm.
So when it is always tight is when it pulls the vertebrae towards each other also,
Hmm.
and you get these pinched nerves and pains going down. So I have treated a lot of people who say I have a tennis elbow and a, a, a thumb which is paining or a wrist which is hurting, but I just relax them. I make them do the active rest position and all those pains go away, is because this muscle is the one which is tight.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay.
So
Um, there's also a question that's come in on exercise for numbness in fingers.
same,
Same. Okay.
the shoulder stretch and active rest and the sleeping position. See, if they follow all these things,
Mm.
the muscles will not remain tense because the culprit is the muscle which remains tight.
Okay.
In most cases, a lot of cases, like a lot of tests have been done and a lot of stuff has been done, but we are so stressed. That
Right.
is a given.
Right.
Everyone is stressed, like from a child to the senior citizen or whoever, everyone.
Mm.
Everyone must do the active rest position for 15 to 20 minutes, if possible twice a day. So
Right.
whoever, till they can sort out the sleeping position and all, they can do as soon as they wake up also.
Mm.
They can do the active rest position. It relaxes them and then they are good to go.
For the rest of the
End of
day.
the day also, when we've done a lot of things which are not correct, but you correct it out. You
Right.
you you know, wipe it out sort of
Right.
with that. So do
Right.
it twice a day if possible, but if not, at least end of the day.
Right. Okay. Think there's if you correct the posture, can anyone correct posture at 60? Spine as well as shoulders. Will it cure the slouch? Sorry.
Slouch.
Yeah.
See, I can understand that at an age which is like so advanced, there
Mm.
are fixed a lot of tight muscles and a lot of tight, but active rest helps because you are just letting gravity work on you.
Right.
See, I cannot do much on that person unless I see them, but
Right.
we can do a few things to stretch that tissue and all, but not on a general discussion like this. But
Mm.
active
It
rest
has to
is
be.
safe.
Right.
Active rest is really safe. They can try doing it. I have seen, okay, why I stress so much on it is when a patient comes to me the first time,
Mm.
they are in a bad posture and they come in and I just tell them do this. The next visit is after maybe 10 or 12 days. They show, like when they walk in, it's a different posture.
Right.
So it's,
Right.
you don't have to really you don't have to work, I mean, think about it much.
Right. Okay.
Don't struggle with it.
Right. Okay. Thanks. Um, I think that you've already answered this, but just because it's a question, is it true that we should do away with pillows? And I think you've already answered this, but if you can just quickly
You
summarize.
mustn't do away with pillows. You must sleep on your sides, because
Mm.
if you sleep straight, you're ultimately going to sleep on your side, which is when you will need those two pillows.
Right.
So you actually need two pillows. It's not no pillows, it's two pillows.
Mm. Okay. And I think couple of people have said that they dropped off in the middle, but you can check it on our Facebook page. The recording will be there, and in a few days we'll also put it up on our YouTube. Um, so I think anything else, final words that you would like to share?
Uh, Generally, if I would just generalize, what they should do is do not sit reclined. That is not a good posture.
Hmm.
Sit upright always
Right.
on a straight surface, not on these fancy chairs and stuff. If at all you do, not for long.
Hmm.
So even if you're, so we can't be right all the time, so even if you're wrong, it's not going to kill you, but don't be in that position for too long. So change your position every 30 to 40 minutes,
Right.
and do the active rest position. It really helps in a lot of ways. So
Right.
just do that. If you find it difficult to meditate, you will be able to in that
Right.
position because you're more relaxed.
And I guess
So
take the advantage of work from home, right? You can do the active rest more often. You don't have to, what you can't do in the
15 20
office,
minutes See,
you can
15
now do.
20 minutes you can always give yourself. If it's going to take away so much from you, it's going to give you so much in return.
Right.
And in at your home, you don't have to go anywhere. You just
Correct.
don't need anything.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't think that's a very,
Okay.
it's too
All right.
easy to believe.
I know it's like a magic thing. I think I'm just showing that slide for the active
Yeah,
rest or the
we can
constructive.
even leave it on the.
Yeah, I'll add a link to it as well
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that. So,
sure, sure.
yeah. So I think, yeah, thank you, Kalpana, for taking the time to explain how we can do simple things to improve and to reduce aches and pains and to improve our posture. Just for a reminder for people, tomorrow we're talking about how to manage diabetes in these times of COVID, and I think I would reiterate that, you know, while we've given what are the simple and easy things to do, if you have a specific problem, you have to discuss it with your personal physiotherapist. Um, and yes, as always, be responsible, stay at home, stay safe, and ask for help if you're feeling anxious and stressed. Learn how to manage your condition, and keep repeating this on each session, because we're hearing of a lot of issues with blood banks and people not having enough blood. So if you can, please donate blood, or request others to do so. Lots of cities are facing problems, and I think, thank you, Kalpana, once again.
It
And
was a pleasure for me too. And if you can, they can also do a video consult with me. If you can just add that.
sure, sure.
Uh, I have
So,
already posted on my clinic, the page, my Swayam Physiotherapy page, with
okay,
my phone number.
right.
So I can do video consults because I treat like this. I anyway don't have patients coming in.
Right. Okay. So that's a good input. If you have specific issues, you can reach out to. I think your Facebook page is Swayam Physiotherapy
Physiotherapy
Clinic,
clinic.
right? Yeah. So you can reach out to her for video consults as well. All right. So thank you, everyone.